Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students and viewers. I am Zakirullah, lecturer medical laboratory technology. Today we will learn about different type of guided FNAC of deep suited or deep rooted lesion inside the body. This is the following lecture after fine needle aspiration cytology. So in the end of this video and this lecture, you will able to learn about what is a CT guided or computed tomographic guided FNAC, its limitation, its advantages, and you will also learn about the ultrasound guided FNAC. You will also learn about the endoscopic ultrasound guided FNAC, and at the last you will know about fine needle sampling or simply a FNAC without any syringe. So these are the four major outcomes you will know at the end of this video. Now coming to the video, introduction to guided FNAC. Basically these are different techniques of FNAC which is similar to both superficial and deep seated lesions. These are different radiological guidance which are used to localize any superficial or any deep lesions. The different types of guidance which are required in the case of deep seated lesions are: number first is the ultrasonography or ultrasound guided FNAC, the computerized tomography or CT guided FNAC, endoscopic ultrasound guided FNAC, mammographic, fluoroscopy, and magnetic resonance image guidance FNAC. These are different common types of guidances which are required in cases of deep sites or deep seated lesions. The advantages of these guided FNAC is that these procedures are very easy to sample from the area of interest or any specific site of the tissue or any lesion. The second thing is you can avoid any kind of major injury, or you can avoid any structure which is near to the mass or near to the tissue which is diseased. The third advantage of the guided FNAC is you can avoid any extra aspiration or which is not required, or the excess aspiration, for example in case of necrotic tissue or cystic area, because we are interested in that area which have any kind of tumor or such properties. So we avoid aspiration from necrotic tissue or dead cells which cannot give us any useful information. And another advantage is we can aspirate from any tiniest lesion with the help of these guided FNAC. So it helps us in the identification and also the detection and investigation of small or any tiny lesion inside the body. Another thing which is it helps to aspirate from the deep seated and those lesions are those masses which we cannot feel with our hands, or simply they are the non-palpable lesions. Indications of guided FNAC is we diagnose any kind of primary lesion with the help of these guided FNAC. So it is indicated and it is advised in such cases, or it is advised in case of any tumor, any cancer, for the assessment of stages. And also it is required to collect material from any ancillary studies such as flow cytometry, microbial culture, or any other kind of techniques. So to apply that techniques we need the tissue or that sample, and that sample is easily collected with the help of these guided techniques. Information required for the guided FNAC is the clinical history of the patient. It is must, in as we know that every procedure it requires any documented any previous history of the patient, so that is also mandatory. Another is the X-ray of the patient or ultrasound of the patient, or any computer tomography scan the picture of that lesion along with report. The size of the lesion, about what is the size and the different measurement of the lesion if possible. Routine blood test to perform that either patient have any other kind of disease or not, and the coagulation parameter which is required, as we know that in case of certain bleeding disorders we cannot perform FNAC, so therefore these information are required for the guided FNAC. Coming to the ultrasound guided FNAC, as the name indicates, this FNAC is done with the help of the ultrasound. It is the most popular and simple technique without any radiological hazards, because it is only directed to the specific site, so no radiation hazards are it is a minimum radiation hazards are possible in this case. So the another thing is ultrasound machine is, as we know, that it is very portable, and as compared to other radiological machines it is very cheap, so it can help us in diagnosis of different tissues and different masses. With the help of ultrasound, radiologists can monitor the passage of the needle by real-time monitoring at the time of FSCES, as during the process of fine needle aspiration cytology. We will see in the next slide that the person which is performing the FNAC can monitor the passage and the area in which the needle is present. It also helps to insert the needle in the exact position within the lesion, that if there is a large area or a whole organ is involved in the disease, so if we need to take sample from a specific site, it can help us to take sample from that site. Ultrasound guided FNAC can be done from any part of the body. Yes, widely used in the mostly intra-abdominal organs or the deep lesions, which are usually non-palpable or which are hard to perform with the simple FNAC. So, and also small thyroid lesion or breast lesions can be done with the help of ultrasound guided FNAC. The principle of ultrasound guided FNAC is ultrasonography. We use high frequency sound waves with the help of that probe or transducer. So when this transducer release high frequency sound waves, then these sound waves, they strike with the mass or with the tissue, and that sound waves come back to the computer, and in the computer it is recorded and image is created. So this is the principle of ultrasound, and the same principle is followed in case of FNAC, ultrasound guided. So what is the procedure that during the ultrasound guided FNAC, first the lesion is identified with the help of ultrasound, and then the needle is introduced into the lesion or into that mass with the help of a negative section and the syringe. Then the syringe is moved in forward and backward direction, as we have already performed in the previous lecture. Then the needle is withdrawn, and if there is the material, the plunger is removed, the needle is removed, and the plunger is withdrawn back so that air insert into the syringe. Then the needle is reattached, and all the material which is present in the needle or which is present inside the syringe, they are spread on the slide, and different slides are prepared. So here in this video we can see that a patient is lying on bed, and then a probe is placed on the thyroid region. We can say that in the video the image is created. Now as the mass is located, the needle is inserted into that mass, and as we discussed in the previous slide, that we can see here that the needle is, this is the needle, and it is real time, we can visualize that it is present there. So this is the procedure of ultrasound guided FNAC. The advantages of ultrasound guided FNAC is that this is one of the economic procedure in all the guided procedures for the FNAC, and as the ultrasound machine is portable, so we can take it to other areas and we can perform our test. The procedure is rapid, as we have already discussed, that we can perform almost it more than, or it requires at least 2 or 3 minutes to perform the procedure. So it is an easy procedure to perform, and we can see the needle real time inside the body and the mass inside the body which is present. And as we discussed, there is no radiation exposure in this procedure, or the radiation exposure is very minimum because the area is targeted, so that is advantage. The disadvantages of ultrasound guided FNAC, mostly if there is any obscuration or obstruction due to air or bone which can affect the image. If the mass is very deep, or it is behind any bone, or it is behind any hard tissue, so it is difficult to isolate, locate, and difficult to take clear image of that areas. The image which is received, as we have seen in the previous slide, that the resolution of the image is not a very high quality. And the third disadvantage is that this ultrasound guided FNAC, it completely depends on the operator which is performing that FNAC. That if an operator performs and he locates the lesion then and takes the sample, then it can give us a very good result, and we can get any useful information from that smear. Or if the operator performs any mistake, so this procedure can be wasted and we cannot get any useful information from that smear. So the operator should be very experienced. Another type of procedure is CT guided or computerized tomographic guided FNAC, and it is also very popular in case of deep rooted lesions, that lesion which are inside the abdominal areas. So this is also performed in that cases. A CT guided FNAC principle is that it uses X-ray beam to create different multiple cross-sectional images of the body, and these images, it depends upon the physical density of the tissue, that if there is a bone or if there is a muscle, so these images depend upon the physical density of that specific tissues. So the computer collects all the data and produces multiple images in different planes. These images have a thickness of very few millimeter, and this is generated, as we have seen, anybody have seen the CT image, that image contains multiple pictures of any specific area. So with the help of this CT guided FNAC, we can detect, or we can reach up to a small or very inaccessible lesions which cannot be detected with the help of the other guided procedures. The advantages of CT guided FNAC is their images are of very high resolutions, and we can localize, or we can check the exact site of the lesion, and we can also detect the exact location of the needle. All the deep lesions near vital structures need CT guidance FNAC, because in case of ultrasound guided FNAC, the image resolution is not very high, so the vital structure can be damaged this process. For that purpose, CT is preferred as compared to other guided and other radiological guided FNAC procedures. The disadvantages of CT guided FNAC is first is it is very costly, the price is very high, so that's why we try to avoid CT guided FNAC. Second disadvantage is very time consuming procedure. It takes a lot of time to perform a CT scan along with FNSE. So that's why we try to avoid this, and the radiation exposure is very high. The person who is performing the FNSE along with the patient, they are in area of high radiation. So that's why this is one of the another disadvantage of CT guided FNSE. It is usually performed for a small lesion which is situated near vital structures such as mediastinal lesion or small lung lesion or intra-abdominal lesions. So it is performed in most of deep cases or in such cases where the lesion is near or attached to any vital or important structures. Another kind of guided FNSE is the endoscopic ultrasound guided FNSE. As we can see in the picture, on the right side it is an endoscope having a needle, a camera and ultrasound probe, and on the left side we can see the monitor, the flexible endoscope and the picture. This kind of FNA is done with the help of endoscope, and this endoscope is attached with the ultrasound, and it can be done from mediastinal, lung, esophageal or biliary tract or any kind of pancreatic lesions. So this kind of procedure is performed for any lesion which is present in the alimentary tract or near to the alimentary tract, or it is present in the respiratory airways. So the masses which is present in this area, for those endoscopic ultrasound guided FNSE is preferred. The procedure is as we already discussed in the previous slides, that first we localize the lesion by endoscopic ultrasound, then insert the needle with the help of endoscope to the mass, then we start aspirating with the help of syringe by negative suction, and we can perform sampling from multiple sites which is present in the alimentary tract or in that area. After that, we withdraw the needle and spread the material onto the slides. Another kind of procedure is the magnetic resonance imaging or MRI guidance FNSE. This kind of procedure, or the magnetic resonance MRI, uses radio frequency energy, and this kind of procedure, it is free from any radiation hazards, but the disadvantages is it is not so popular because it takes longer time, just like the CT, and it is very costly and the procedure is very complicated. So these are the reason that we do not prefer MRI for any kind of FNSE. Coming to the complications of guided FNSE, the complication, just like we discussed in the previous lecture, that FNSE has a very minute or almost nil complication, but occasionally there may be bleeding, or there can be a pneumothorax, that air can be introduced, or any kind of infection. For example, one person is infected with hepatitis virus, and if that instrument is not properly sterilized and a non-infected person is done, and FNSE is performed of a non-infected person with that previous instrument, so one person can transfer infection from the other to the other person with the help of such instruments. So these instruments need to be sterilized. Coming to the last procedure of today's lecture, the fine needle sampling. Fine needle sampling and fine needle aspiration, as the name indicates, it is the same procedure just like fine needle aspiration cytology, but one difference is In fine needle sampling, we do not use a syringe for the procedure, and we do not create any artificial suction in case of fine needle sampling, but we take only the needle from the syringe. Only the needle is taken, and with the help of that needle, a sample or fine needle sampling is performed. The material is aspirated or drawn with the help of negative capillary pressure of the atmosphere, which is created naturally, and no artificial or no negative suction is applied in case of this procedure. The steps is, first the area is cleaned with the swab, and then the swelling is localized with the help of two fingers, and also it becomes clearly visible. Then a needle of thin bore is introduced into the swelling. Then the needle is moved forward and backward, or to and fro motion in the same as well as in the different direction. When the material it comes into the hub of the needle by the capillary pressure, which is naturally produced by the atmosphere, then we withdraw the needle gently and then fill the syringe with the air and attach the needle with the syringe. The material which is present inside the needle, that is spread on the glass slides, and smears are performed. So this is the procedure of fine needle sampling. Advantages of fine needle sampling is that we can get our sample without the addition of any mixture of blood or anything else. Another thing is FNS is helpful in vascular organ like thyroid. That it is a very sensitive area, so only we take a needle and we can sample from thyroid region. But one thing is that small swelling are often difficult to fix, and we can take sample from that small swellings with the help of fine needle sampling as compared to fine needle aspiration cytology. This process is easy to perform because the needle is light, without any attachment of any syringe, without attachment of any pistol. So performing is very easy. Limitation of this procedure is that the material which is collected in this procedure, that material are usually very less in amount, and from that material we cannot get and we cannot prepare multiple smears of wet fix or air dried. So that's why this is one of the limitation of fine needle sampling. Another, there is a chance of spillage in case of cystic lesion, because if the needle comes in contact with the cystic lesion, so the material inside the cyst that can be spilled by on the cloths or on the floor. So this is also a limitation. And another limitation is that FNS is not suitable in case of any hard lesion like bony or fibrotic lesion, because for that lesion negative pressure is required. So these are the limitations of fine needle sampling. A summary of fine needle sampling: what are the indications, what are the advantages, what are the limitations, and this is the end of today's lecture. Hope you have learned all the techniques, guided FNSC, ultrasound, CT scan guided FNSC, and endoscopic ultrasound guided FNSC.